Hey YouTube, it's Kier. I look like hell tonight, and I'm using my old camera on my old computer, which, as you can tell, sucks even harder than my other webcam camera. I will get to why I look like hell and why I'm using my old camera momentarily. This video is about how bad the month of August truly sucks. I don't think it sucks for everybody, but it definitely sucks for a few people that I know annually. We call it, my friend Ruth and I, which if you're on my Facebook, you can see me and Ruth talk now and then. We actually start preparing ourselves toward the end of July for whatever fucking bullshit August is going to bring our way each year. We call it the Curse of August, and it never fails to disappoint in the fact that it is always shitty. I have figured out a few secrets about August. Like, okay, here's the thing with August. It goes one of two ways. Either it will turn your entire life upside down with major fucking changes that, you know, the changes kind of come later. August is the messy, your whole world has been turned upside down portion of the program. Or it will make every small thing that you try to do completely fucking 3 times harder than it should be. With Ruth, it tends to hit her in the fact that a lot of people seem to die in her life every single year in August. For me, it tends to do shit like either my whole life turns upside down, or I have a day like yesterday where every bit of my body was hurting, all that shit was going down, I was completely pissed at the whole world, and then my cord to my computer decided to say fuck you and just quit working, leaving me with this computer, which is 6 years old. This is my keyboard for this computer. Yes, it's a laptop. It is missing 1, 2, 3 of its keys, but the one that made me have to use an external keyboard was the fact that the spacebar was ripped off. If you hear fan in the background, it's because this computer no longer cools itself at all. So you have to have a fan on it at all times, or it will overheat and it will just die on you. And this fan is not great. My little sister kind of broke my other one, so it still keeps dying on me. Yeah, so going back to using Shiba, as I affectionately call this old cranky bitch, was not my happy place. I always use this computer to do schoolwork, which hopefully I'm done with now. Fingers fucking crossed. But yeah, I don't really use it for much more than that at this point because it is a major pain in the ass. But she is a reliable pain in the ass, by God, because despite her many problems and the fact that she was born a laptop and became a desktop, she still works. She still turns on, and that's very good. And well, the good part about my entire day being completely shitty and my cord finally going, fuck you, we're not doing this anymore, is that it pissed me off to the point where I came over here. I had just enough charge to where I could send my my file for what I'm writing right now, Rapunzel, to this computer. And I came over here and I wrote for a few hours, and then I went and scrubbed down my kitchen, which was the only room in the house. I didn't scrub down the night before, besides my bedroom, which is so fucking a disaster. But, yeah, so it, you know, some good did come of it. And then today, when I woke up, I got a phone call saying that my grandfather had broken his other hip, the one that he didn't break back in May, and that they didn't know if they were going to be able to get him into surgery today or if we were going to have to wait till tomorrow. So my mom had to run a few errands for my grandma, and then she was coming to get me, and by the time she came to get me, they already had him in surgery. Everything has gone really well. When we were there, he was still really loopy. He kept saying hell yeah over and over again, and was saying some shit about how he was in the grocery store. Now, in 2011, when he had major stomach surgery, he made up this entire scenario, which he was in a coma, and we thought he was going to die. Like, it was major shit. But, and so he was out of commission for about a month and a half. And, in his head, he made up this entire story where he was in federal prison. He was just sitting at a restaurant, just eating his food, sitting in a restaurant, and the feds came in and nabbed him up. And when he was in the recovery portion of the hospital, he was in low security. And then when they moved him up to the ICU floor, he was in maximum security because every time he wakes up after having anything done, or even in general where he has Alzheimer's, he'll wake up and he has no idea where he is or why he's there, especially a place unfamiliar to him like that. And he immediately starts trying to rip out IVs and all that kind of thing. So they had to restrain him at one point, so I guess that's where he got the maximum security thing from. So, I mean, compared with that, grocery shopping, not a big deal. Y'all thought I was the storyteller of the family. But yeah, so that's been a couple of the highlights of this month. And then we still have the situation going on with my sister that is really, really bad and has not yet been resolved, which I thought that it was going to be by this week, which is why I said I could talk about it. I can't yet. Hoping for next week. There's that. And then, well, I mean, like, okay, the month started out on a me feeling like an absolute fucking failure as a witch note, because I was too sick to do my ritual for the blue moon on the last day of July. And then on Lunasha, I made this big meal, and, you know, I dressed up in this fucking red dress that I have that I won't be able to wear a month from now because I'm already, like, hopping out of everywhere in it. It's very form-fitting, and I no longer have the form I had 3 months ago. So, you know, I was like, okay, this is going to be great, everything's going to be fine. And by the time I made food and I, you know, did all that and cleaned the house and all that shit, I just felt so shitty that I couldn't do the ritual. And I'm the kind of person that I've literally, at one point, more or less prop myself up to do a ritual. I've done rituals sitting down because I was too sick to stand that day. Like, I try not to let anything get in between me and at least my Sabbath. Every once in a while I'll miss an Esbit, but I don't generally miss Sabbath rituals. So that totally, you know, made me feel like a fucking failure. And I ended up not doing my waning moon ritual either. So I've decided to, it's 4:50 in the morning right now, so it's technically already Friday. So today is the new moon, and I'm just going to kind of start the cycle fresh. We will start with this ritual and try to forget that the last moon phase even happened. And the moral of that story is, no matter what kind of, you know, witch you are, trying to be a super witch, every once in a while you are going to have times where you feel like a failure and you do not do what you had hoped to do, and you just sit there like, I fucking suck at this, I am failing at my craft, I suck. You just gotta, you know, dust yourself off and start a new cycle. But yeah, August for me, like, I noticed, sorry, I'm at the kitchen table, which is another downside to this fucking computer, but anyway, I noticed the whole August thing back in 2005. I was almost raped that month. I was having a lot of problems at home and with my boyfriend at the time, and just all kinds of shit. And then it went and ended with Hurricane Katrina, which, you know, I think I've talked before about my really weird love of New Orleans. When Hurricane Katrina hit, well, I mean, okay, even the year before that, they were sitting there, and they did it every fucking year with hurricanes. Oh, it's gonna hit New Orleans, it's gonna fucking wipe it off the map, blah, 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 blah. And every single year, it would pass right by New Orleans, you know? So, at first, when they were talking about this major category, because originally they said category 5, hurricane hitting New Orleans, it's like, yeah, you know, we've heard that before. And I'm sure a lot of the natives felt the same fucking way, because they had heard that every single year since Hurricane Betsy back in '65. And, so, you know, it just didn't seem like a big deal. And then when it was fucking certain that it was going to hit and it was going to be bad, I sat there, the night of, I believe it was the 28th, that I know it touched down on the 29th, I think it was the 28th that we were hearing the first of the real news coming in about it. I sat there that entire night and I remember it looked like, because it ended up being a category 3, I believe, by the time it hit, and you know, everybody's like, well, it could have been worse. This is fine. We can deal with this. And then the morning sunlight broke, and all of a sudden the next shots that they showed was, it looked like the entire fucking city underwater, and I just sat there and I fucking bawled, because I'm like, this is it, you know, it's fucking gone, just look at it. And thankfully, of course, that ended up not being the case. Unfortunately, there is still a lot of damage and devastation down there that has yet to be dealt with, and there are still people who never were able to go back home. And don't get me started, I'll make a treatment video on this one anyways and rage my little heart out. But anyway, that was the first time that I remember thinking, God, I cannot fucking wait for this fucking month to be over. And I thought it was a fluke, you know, it was just bad fucking month. And then the next year, it was one thing after the other, after the other. The year after that, same fucking thing. One thing after the other, and I'm going, really? Like, is this going to be annual? The answer, by the way, is yes. This year, like, we're only now 14 days into it, 2 weeks into it, and already every fucking thing I've tried to do is just either broken, not been accomplished after trying 6 times harder than I should have, you know, and then Grandpa falling and breaking his hip, and every single time Grandpa goes into surgery, because he has tumors on his lungs, and he's very weak from where he only has part of his stomach and intestines after that surgery I was telling you all about. Every fucking time they put, oh, and he has emphysema. It's, you know, a chance that he will not come out of it. But yeah, like I said, he seems to be doing great, so that could have been a lot worse. And I'm just hoping that this is gonna slack off. I know it's not going to. I look at September like, poor September has to clean up the mess August made every fucking year. But if you've noticed this in your own life, or if you're like sitting there thinking about it right now, going, this crazy bitch might be onto something. The good news is, when your life, like your whole life, is turned upside down, generally speaking, really good things come of it. The bad news is, when every small thing that can go wrong does go wrong, you really don't get compensated for that anyway, at all. You're just fucking stuck with it. So that's where we're at right now. Right now it hasn't been, and I think that the main difference in whether or not August turns your whole life upside down is whether or not you acknowledge that changes need to be made in your life, and you're actually putting steps forward toward changing that. At least that seems to be the way it goes in my life. If there's something that needs changed in my life, and I'm just dragging ass and refuse to see it or refuse to do anything about it, August will do something about it. Fortunately, these past couple years, I really haven't had anything like that I've been dragging ass on. So it hasn't been turned completely upside down time. And a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make a couple more videos tonight. I have about an hour and a half before the boyfriend gets home, and I should be writing, but I'm clearly not. I'm kind of fucking exhausted right now, and I can't sleep because I'm exhausted, but I'm not tired. I'm like mentally drained. So I have to do something, and yeah, so I'm gonna try to make a couple videos for y'all with my shitty camera and my no makeup on my face. Aren't you the lucky ones? So I hope that y'all are having an easier month than me and some of my friends are having. Again, could be worse. The whole situation could be worse. So I really, compared with August's past, I can't bitch too bad. And if y'all are having a fucking predictably shitty August, my heart is with you. We've got about 2 weeks and a few days left, and then it's over. Just look on the bright side, it does end. I hope y'all have a beautiful week, and I hope y'all remember